What's up, guys? Metal Boot Guy here, and today I've got this pair of Bordon boots that I've been waiting to unbox. I'd heard about this company before. I know I've seen their website a couple times, but for whatever reason, I never wanted to purchase a pair. But I came across it again the other day. Just, I'm always online looking for boots and stuff, and they had a navy chrome axle option. And so I was really interested in getting that. And also the makeup of the boot is kind of what caught my eye too. They are a very Pacific Northwest style boot, although they're not completely Pacific Northwest and they're not made in the Pacific Northwest. They're actually out of Colombia. And what I really like about them is that not only are they from Colombia and they build their boots in Colombia, but they source a lot of the materials in Colombia. And that's kind of the same thing going back with the Trumans that I like about Truman. Of course, I am American and I live in the US. And so I try to spend my money in the US when possible. And Truman being a US company sourcing pretty much everything from the US, I really like that. And so with Bordon, it's kind of the same idea, even though they're not from the US. They make all their stuff in Colombia. They source most of the materials there. And build quality for the price is absolutely fantastic. So first, I just want to show off this bag that I had shown in my short. I just think it's very cool how they added all this stuff to it instead of just being kind of like a generic plain bag. It is a little thick. It says enjoy them up here. It says it's a corn bag. So it's marked with the European Compostability Certificate. I think they're all about sustainability. It's part of their kind of brand culture. And the front here is pretty interesting. It has their logo up top, and it kind of shows their journey of their company. I guess this is where they're from, I would assume. Parque Tayrona, Colombia. I'm probably saying that wrong. 2021, they were doing MTO Boots Blake Stitch. I know they used to do, I think, small batches. Now, if you go on the website, they have, I think, maybe 5 or 6 specific leathers that you can choose from, and they're all MTO. And they can make so many with said leathers, and then I don't know if they replenish those with more of the same, or if they're going to do new things. Again, I'm very new to this brand. But they do have a lot of cool leathers, which we'll go over later. And then 2023, 100% in-house production. So I know a little bit of the history. They used to have their boots made in Europe, I think in Portugal and maybe Spain. And then at some point they moved to Colombia and did everything in-house, started sourcing the majority of the materials, in Colombia. But anyways, just wanted to show off the little bag because I've never seen it before. I thought it was pretty unique. Okay, and here's the box. And the box is also equally unique. Now, there's not a whole lot that I could find online as far as, I guess, just surfing like the web and YouTube. I know Dell's got a couple videos of Bordon. Tech from Bootlosophy does. There was like this one other random guy that had some videos. And then there's some threads like on Reddit and stuff. But for the most part, a lot of the information I could find from like customers has been years old. And I think they've maybe changed some things. I know the boxes that Dell was unboxing were more of a, like a formal, like a really nice type of box, like a formal dress shoe type of box. And of course, this is not, which I like this box. But it's not like a formal dress shoe type of box. This box is like super cool though, and that's kind of why I wanted to show it off. Of course, you got the logo. I believe this is supposed to be Andres and maybe his wife. I'm not sure. That's just my guess. Talks about their stitched down construction, the leather heel block. It's 100% hand lasted, full vegetable tan leather. Here's another. This must just be the place that's on the picture. Maybe that was the same thing with the bag. Built to last, real cool pictures there. and don't throw me away, give me a second life. Again, very about sustainability with this company. And what I really thought was cool, they put my name on the box. Small touch, but I think it's pretty cool. And here's just some of the phone number and their social media. So let's go ahead and pop these bad boys open and take a look. All right. We got some nice boot bags here. That's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and pull both these out. And looks like we got a card here. Dear Brian, wow, a personalized card. Thanks for your support. We hope you love them. They're made with a lot of passion, love, and detail. Good things take time, and we hope they're worth the wait. Please enjoy them. Andres, Natalia, and Bordon team. That is super cool. I've never gotten anything like that before, specifically personalized to me from a boot brand. Very cool. And I actually like these boot bags. These are awesome. This is the first time I've got a pair of boot bags. They're a decent thickness. They don't feel, cheap, flimsy. It's got the logo on it. That's really nice. It's probably polyester or something, not 100% sure, but that's pretty cool because all my boots are sitting out on a shelf and they all get dusty. So this is really cool. So let's go ahead and see what these look like. And yeah, this is super nice. That color is fantastic. It is a very reddish color, which I was not entirely expecting, but I'm in love with that. So we'll go over some of the details here in a second, but right now I just want to look over the stitching and the quality control and everything. I mean, everything looks really good. Wow, 3-row. This is a real cap toe too, by the way. Double row stitch down. You've got quadruple stitching right here. That's crazy. And then of course, dual down here. That is really nice. And it's got a day-night studded sole. And again, it's no screws. I don't know that Nicks would screw into this type of sole either, but it's very close to a Pacific Northwest style boot. But it's not made for the same purpose. But I mean, get out of here with that triple. That's insane. All right, let's take a look at the other boot. Wow. Honestly, these have exceeded my expectation. I mean, these are just amazing quality for the price, and all handmade too. That's crazy. Might be, it could just be some wrinkles, could be a little bit of loose grain. I'm not 100%. That's not my area of expertise. Otherwise, though, the clicking is fantastic. I mean, this color is just out of this world. I love me a deep, burgundy red like this. It's not, like I said, really what I was expecting. Oh yeah, let's check this out here. Tongue is like a suede, which you can opt for a matching tongue, but I did not MTO these. We'll get into that in a little bit. And not getting good light on the inside, but there's a suede heel counter on the inside. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like this. I'm trying to do my best to get the inside here. You can see the leather footbed there, insole. And then you can kind of see that suede backing right there. It's supposed to keep your heel from moving too much, I guess, and provide comfort. It's pretty cool, I like the orange. So yeah, pretty interesting on the inside. Okay, and so as far as construction goes, like I said, they run a MTO model, and the current lead time is 9 months or longer. So this being my first pair of boots with them, I reached out to customer service, which Andres replied back, and he replied back pretty promptly, very friendly, answered all my questions amazingly. The website does say to size the same as like any other American boot that heritage boot that you own. So like in Iron Ranger and the Truman, I wear 8.5D. However, my foot is actually Brannick's, like a 10B. And so I'm still a little, weary about like what size I should go with. Um, I was fortunate. They do have a seconds page on their website. There's not a whole lot of options. I think there's like maybe 10 pairs. I got lucky that they had one in 8.5. And so even though I really didn't want to, spend money on 2 pairs of boots right now, I would have rather done that than wait the 9 months to get a size that doesn't fit. And there's like absolutely nothing on eBay. I did find 1 pair on, I think, Poshmark. And I didn't really want that boot that guy had, because they have another, I think it's called the Wayans boot, but it's like a 5-inch where this is like a 6-inch. I didn't really want that. And plus he had like worn it, it was like pretty broken in and whatnot. And, he was still asking $300. And I was like, I'd rather just buy the brand new one. Even though on the seconds you can't return them, I just felt like, hey, surely it's going to fit. Now on the pictures of the seconds, those looked like they kind of snapped some shots maybe in-house. Whereas like the photo of this particular leather on the MTO page is more like a stock photo. And in the stock photo, you can kind of see, this coloring. But I was going back to that seconds page so much. To me, this color is actually called Chestnut oiled Latigo. I was expecting more of like a brown, and I don't really need brown. But again, I didn't care because I wanted to make sure it fit. So when I got these and saw this color, I mean, I was just like blown away. I mean, these are fantastic. And these were a brand new pair. I assume somebody returned, maybe for sizing issues. This was not a seconds. So I did pay full price for these, which is fine. But I would not have had this built in this specific makeup. One, you can choose hooks and eyes, and I definitely would have picked the hooks. Although with a 6-inch boot, I wasn't super concerned because it's only 6 inches. Whereas I do have that Truman charcoal double shot that I did in the Upland, which I did all eyes, and I don't really care for lacing a tall boot up with all eyes. But anyways, and then the tongue, again, you can choose to have matching with the leather instead of the suede. Again, I just got what I could get with these. I can't remember if the pull tab was an option or not. The cap toe is standard on this. This is the Tucano V2 boot. So it's the second version, because they had an old version and then they made some changes, and this is the new version, which we'll get into that later. See, the sole is an option you can choose. This guy chose a studded sole, and this is fine with me. They have a lot of different soles to choose from. They do not offer a Vibram 100 or Honey Lug. However, I've seen pictures of their boots with those soles, and I asked Andres if that was a possibility, and he said it is, but I think it was another $80 charge in order for them to actually get that sole. And I thought, no, I'm good without the extra $80 charge whenever I do my build. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it. Like I said earlier, you got the double row stitch down, a real cap toe, you've got the nails, the cinch nails back here, day-night studded sole. I mean, it's Colombian veg tan leather here and here. And it's pretty thick midsole. I'll pull out my Trumans here in a minute and do a little comparison. But yeah, I mean, these are awesome. Let's throw them on and see how they fit. All right, so normally I wouldn't bore you guys with the lacing up part, but since this is a new boot, I just wanted to actually kind of go over this once I slip this on. My foot slid in really nicely. This leather is surprisingly supple. Their leathers are 5 to 6 ounces, but this is Wicket and Craig leather. This is not just some, low quality, leather or some no name brand leather company. This is Wicket and Craig. Now, obviously, it's not as thick as what Nick's carries, which again goes to what I was saying earlier about how they're very Pacific Northwest ish, but they're not on that same level. But the temper was medium, but my foot slid right in. It's not, like I said, super soft and flimsy, but it's pretty stiff. But it's not so stiff that it was a struggle. I'll show you on my left boot. But one thing that I noticed, and it's not an issue or anything, the parts with the eyelets, they seem to be, I guess, like higher up, and maybe it's just because I'm used to Truman's, which they're notorious for the the laces to be so far apart. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just so used to that. But and it's not a problem. It's just, again, an observation. But it seems like it's like way high up, which is fine. But I want to go ahead and lace these up. These came with these wax cotton laces. Okay, you do have the option to purchase leather laces also, and I believe they offered black and brown. I'm going to pull up the website in a little bit and go over some of the options. But again, this was a stock boot, so I don't even know. I'm sure Andres could have thrown them in if I would have paid, if I would have asked, but it's not an issue because I'll just go with this for right now. Wax cotton is not my favorite, but it's not a big deal. I can always steal some of my Truman leather laces that I'm not using. Oh yeah, these eyelets cinch up way closer together than my Truman's, and I mean, you can feel the thickness. 5 to 6 ounces may not seem like a whole lot if you're coming from a 7-8 ounce boot, but it still just feels like very rugged and very heavy duty. So I'll just go up to that. Oops. Oh, I unlaced it. All right. It does feel, I mean, this is probably, again, I have a long, narrow foot, so not everything works for me. Like I don't think there's any chance in heck that I could go down to a size 8. And I do normally wear a little thicker boot socks than what I've got on today, but they feel good. No complaints. Get that lucky. Yeah, see how my foot just kind of slid right in there. Get these laces back on. All right. So overall, they do feel, they're not handshake firm to me, but I think this would be the appropriate size for me if I buy their boots, because I don't think an 8 will work. And again, I normally wear a little thicker socks anyway, so for my toe, I mean, my toe's been in right about the appropriate spot. But I cannot get over this color. It's just amazing. Very nice. Okay, so hopping on their website here, you go over to Boots, Essentials. This is the Tucano boot that I have. Like I said, they have 3 different styles. But here's some of the different leathers that they have right now. They've got a lot of variety of colors, and I think the majority of them are Wicket and Craig Oil Latigo. But if you go ahead and click on one, it'll show you how many pairs they have left for the MTO. And then you can look over the options here, adding the leather laces, some beeswax, your size, your width. Now, on the width, they only offer E, double E, and triple E. So the boot that I have is actually an E width boot. A lot of people assumed that they were going like calling E as like a normal width, but Andres actually clarified that that is a E width, and that may be why this is a little wider than my Truman boot. Um, but it is what it is. I'll wear a little thicker socks. But you can see all the options here. Most of them are just things that you can choose. Some of them, you've got to pay a small amount, except for they'll do a 360-degree uh stitch down. That's going to cost you like $60. Um, but like the pull tab, I think was standard on here. I wasn't sure about that earlier on this particular model on the Tucano. The cap toe, real cap toe, that's standard on this boot. So you can choose to do the eyes, the hooks and the eyes, um, a bunch of different soles. You can choose different heel styles. And of course, here they've got pictures of everything. So you can see, the options that you're selecting. There's stack versus semi-dogger, woodsman heel with the leather sole. So I really like this because I really like MTOs. I like to be able to kind of customize the boot how I want it, versus just going with this, the same thing every single time, which is kind of what I do anyways. Now, I believe they just started doing this sometime recently. They made the 8-inch and they're running this in the black T core. And the black T core is actually a 7-ounce leather. Um, So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty beefy boot. Um, I actually am not interested in the black T core because I don't need a black boot. And I asked them about doing 8 inches with different colors and with the pull tab. And I was told, hey, just throw it in the comments and we can accommodate that for you. So, in conclusion, I mean, $429 for what you're getting here, this is fantastic. A real cap toe, triple stitched, the 6-inch height, you know, a decent thickness on the leather. You're getting a day night sole. Um, oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention was the shank. You're getting both a metal shank and a leather shank. I mean, these things are overbuilt for the price. It's actually pretty ridiculous, and I mean, I'm really liking these. Just so everyone can see, I've got a quote unquote 6-inch Truman tobacco snake bite right here. And just so you can kind of see the height difference with the Bordon. Now, not everyone's going to care about this. It's something that I've brought up in some of my other videos. The one thing I don't like about the 6-inch Trumans, to me, they're more of a 5-inch. And I don't like the height, which is why I don't own a whole lot. And so with the Bordon, I just want to show you, like I said, it's a little bit more Pacific Northwest-ish. It's more of a true 6-inch. And in case you were wondering, that's what it's compared to a comparable Truman boot. And you can see here from the bottom, both 8.5, you can tell that the Bordon is a little bit wider. This is not a good shot to try and compare the length, but it looks like the Bordon is slightly longer. Here's the top down, the toe boxes. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I've got them both lined up right to the back of the box, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. I mean, where exactly is your foot, resting back here? Whoops. But I mean, for the most part, and just like they recommend going same size, it's pretty comparable. You also have to keep in mind my Truman has a little bit of, from where it's flexed, the front of the boot kind of sticks up just a little bit, whereas this is laying completely flat. But again, for the most part, they're about the same length. Okay, I also want to give just a little quick little comparison here of the Bordon. This is their 6-inch. This is Truman's Upland. This is their quote unquote 8-inch. That's more like 6.5, 7 inches. Okay, both size 8.5D. Or I'm sorry, Truman is 8.5D. Bordon is not, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. But you can see the Bordon, it's got a little bit of a higher heel. But I mean, even if you brought that down that little smidge, I mean, they're still going to be almost the same height as the Truman Upland. And look at that big beefy heel counter. That's amazing. I mean, everything about this boot is just awesome. Awesome. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like these boots, check out the website. If you got any questions, reach out. They will answer back. Super nice company, super friendly. And I'll see you guys in the next video.